Happy Friday, beer runners, and welcome to the latest edition of the iRunOnBeer Friday 5, brought to you from the inside of my lovely car here. Unfortunately, the week just got away from me a little bit, so I decided to improvise, plus my phone just got an upgrade and added portrait mode for video, so figured I'd give that a test. But anyway, welcome to this week's edition of the Friday 5. I figured since we just ended daylight savings. I get a little bit confused about which is which, but since for whatever reason clocks have fallen backwards and now it is getting lighter earlier, but more importantly getting darker much earlier in the evening, I figured I would focus my Friday 5 this week on how to stay motivated through these dark, cold winter months. I think this is probably the most brutal time of year to maintain your training and stay motivated to run. I wanted to go through some of my techniques that I use to stay motivated, keep training hard, so I'm ready to go once spring race season rolls around. Jumping into tip number 1 will come as no surprise because I think I've recommended it in more videos than I haven't recommended it, but it is just one of my top tips for anything running motivation wise, building consistently, becoming a better runner, just one of the things all around I think you can do to improve your training, and that is switch your running, if you are an evening runner, to morning running. Again, I know this won't necessarily agree with everyone's schedule, but especially now that it's getting dark at like 4:45 in the afternoon, you're driving home in the dark, you're tired after a long day's work, you're exhausted, you're not motivated. It is much easier to give up on your run in that circumstance than if you were just to wake up, get yourself out of bed, get the run out of the way early. Plus, it's lighter earlier now. I know the days are just going to get shorter and shorter, so that won't always be the case, but at least you're seeing some sunlight on your run. You're getting that run out of the way early when there aren't as many excuses to back out on it. And again, you're not leaving it until the evening when you're driving home in that, I don't know if you're like me and have that long commute, but that hour commute home just driving through in the dark, I can think of 1,000 reasons on that drive why I should give up on a run. So better to just get it out of the way early, get it done in the morning, and be able to stay consistent with your running rather than letting yourself get demotivated by this unfortunate evening darkness. For number 2, I would say not only did we just start or end daylight savings, depending on which it is, but we also just started November. We have about 2 months left in the year, so why not set a goal for yourself for the rest of 2019? It's not too late. There's still plenty of time to achieve some sort of new goal that you set for yourself. Shout out to one of my friends, Dan Cerny, actually, who just recently, I think maybe a month, 2 months ago, decided, you know what, I'm going to run 100 miles before the end of the year, and he is crushing that goal and actually just signed up for his first half marathon. So huge props to him, but again, just a great example of a way to help keep yourself motivated through the end of the year. Set a goal for yourself for the rest of 2019. Don't wait until the new year to set some New Year's resolutions. Come up with some short-term goals that you can set for yourself right now to, again, just keep yourself motivated and have something that you're working towards for these last 2 months of the year. For number 3, along with the goal setting that you can do for the end of the year, start looking at the goals that you're going to set for yourself in 2020. Specifically for me, what I've started looking at is what races I'm going to run in the spring of 2020. So obviously I've already talked about Bandera in January, but that's just one race. It is a hell of a race, that's for sure, and definitely demands a lot of training. But what am I going to do after Bandera? I've started to put some thoughts into that, hoping to run a marathon in the spring. I want to start running more full marathons if I can, but I've also noticed it's been a while since I've run a half marathon. I'm going to be running the Hot Chocolate 15K again, and so just figuring out, starting to stack up that spring race calendar, registering for a race and having something on your calendar to work towards, being in a formalized training program is a great way to keep yourself motivated to run because there's something holding you accountable. There is that race that you have to look forward to and that you need to prepare for. So a great way to stay motivated is just find a big goal race of yours to sign up for, register for that race, find your training plan, and stick to it despite these unfortunate cold, dark circumstances. Another great way to keep yourself motivated and keep yourself training consistently is to try something new and maybe go streaking. No, I don't mean running naked outside, especially in the cold, but adding some kind of running streak. I know Runner's World has done one in the past where you try to run at least a mile a day between Thanksgiving and New Year's, so that's a great idea. Or maybe just try to do one for the rest of the month of November, or see how long you can go. Just commit to a running streak of running at least 1 mile every single day for the rest of the year, for the next week, week, 2 weeks, etc. Set whatever time frame you want, but just a creative way and not too intense way to set a goal for yourself that you can just be following up on day after day after day. And again, you don't have to run just a mile, you can do more than that, but just committing to consistently running at least a mile every single day. Something simple that you can do, something fun that you can do, just again to stay committed. I know I, along with some of the other folks over at BibRave, we did a running streak for the whole month of May, running at least a mile every single day, and I did a video of it back in June right after we finished. So if you want to check that out, just went over some of the impacts that it had on me, what I learned from running a mile every single day, what some of the hard things were, what some of the nice things I learned about myself were, just kind of an intro to what running a running streak is like. So if you're interested in doing that, definitely think about checking that out. And last but certainly not least, the most helpful, most beneficial, number one tip I have for keeping yourself motivated and committed to your training throughout these difficult months, through the winter, through the cold, bitter months, through the snow, through the darkness, through anything that's going to get thrown your way, is to find someone else to hold you accountable. For me, number one is my running coach. Shout out to Diego Coramas on Instagram. He has been phenomenal, but having a running coach specifically who is prescribing all my runs, coordinating my training, just makes it a lot easier for me to be consistent with my running, because it takes out the mental stress of having to plan a training program. But even more so is having someone who's holding me accountable to my runs. I am much less likely to bail on a run because I know I need to send that run data to him and he's going to review it. So if I skip out on it, he's going to know that I skipped out on the run. And so just having that extra level of accountability outside of just personal accountability has been huge. But even if you don't necessarily have a coach, think about having a friend, join up with somebody, find a buddy to go towards a mutual goal or something like that. Or even if you're just working towards a goal on your own, share it with someone, share it with a friend, a family member, someone you know is going to help keep you motivated and help you stick to that goal. Just having someone else that is not relying on your training, but is holding you accountable to that training and checking in on how everything's going will make it much harder for you to bail out on a run, because you know this person's going to be asking you about it and you want to be able to say that you completed that training run. So again, that's the number one tip I can think of, and it's been a huge impact for me. Just how much more consistent I've gotten with my running is having that running coach, that extra person holding me accountable, so that when I get out of bed in the morning, I'm exhausted, maybe I don't feel great, don't feel like getting in a run, I think, oh, but I have to send him this data. And not only am I going to run the run, but I'm going to run it strong. I'm not going to just kind of limp along and just not give it my all. I'm going to give it my all because I want to demonstrate to my coach that I'm trying my hardest in these workouts. So having a coach is huge. If you can't have a coach, find that buddy. Just find someone that you can tell your goal to, and then also demonstrate your progress towards that goal, just again to hold you accountable towards those runs. So there you go, just a very quick video this week for the Friday 5. Again, sorry for the less than ideal scenery, but I've been having a lot of fun using this new portrait mode video on the Samsung, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Just some of those tips that I find most useful to keep me motivated during these darker winter months. I know I really struggle with winter training, but these are just some of the ways that I help keep myself motivated. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was quick, but my arm is about to fall off. It's getting so tired from holding this phone out in front of me. So I hope you enjoyed it. Congratulations as always on making it through another week. Congratulations on making it to the weekend. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend and knock out a killer long run on either Saturday or Sunday, but enjoy it. You've earned it. Happy Friday, and we'll see you next week. Cheers.